Hi, everybody. Welcome back. This is Dr. Kristen Drexler to continue her presentation on community capital's assessment of increasing climate smart practices in Milpa communities. The study found 4 key barrier capitals to increasing climate smart practices in Milpa communities. We've discussed already human capital, human capacity capital, financial capital, infrastructure and built capital, and governance justice capital. All of these were barriers in the study, perceived barriers to increasing climate smart agriculture practices. So we were discussing when we left off governance justice capital and how the the government agriculture extension services, there were only in Toledo district, there are only 4 people, 4 staff for 52 villages in the whole Toledo district. They have budget and vehicle constraints. Border customs restrictions were identified by Milpa farmers as a limit or barrier to CSA practices in terms of cross-border market access. The closure of markets and crop buying programs from the government of Belize, that formed a barrier as well. A lack of government action on stated priority of sustainable agriculture and climate resilience. Lack of addressing rural poverty and land tenure in Mayan communities, and an increasing sense of marginalization perceived by Milpa farmers in Mayan communities. All of these were key barriers to increasing climate smart agriculture practices in Milpa communities. And you can see how it's multidisciplinary. It's not just an economic issue, it's not just a cultural issue. This has multiple levels and multiple factors. So I have some recommendations for government action. This is for the government of Belize on the national scale, as well as specifically Government Extension Office, the Department of Extension. First of 3 recommendations for interventions by the government of Belize is I think the priority would be to invest in district level agriculture extension. They work within the cultural traditions of the Maya. If you increase staff and operational budgets so that they can reach the villages, as well as provide climate smart technology training and networking so that there's up-to-date information, for example, on nutrient enrichment strategies, as well as pest management strategies. So being armed with the information, the training, and the ability to reach Maya Milpa communities will make a big difference in climate smart agriculture interventions and practices. The second recommendation is to address shortcomings with climate smart and sustainable agriculture priorities and policies. So the priorities that have been stated already as priorities, they're part of a climate-related disaster risk management, but also sustainable communities. So addressing those and actually following the strategies and working towards those goals. The third recommendation is multifaceted because it uses a socioecological systems lens or community capitals lens, a multidisciplinary lens. So reopening markets and crop buying programs would satisfy a financial capital, would improve a financial capital. And remember, as part of the community capitals, when you lift one, you lift all. So if there's one community capital or several that are sort of failing or struggling, by adding interventions to lift those, you're lifting the entire system. So in addition to reopening markets, improving roads, utilities, and cellular service, so this is an infrastructure capital, building capacity for communities to use the climate smart agriculture technologies with existing knowledges and strengths of their traditional Milpa farming system, and easing border customs restrictions to increase farmer access to cross-border markets. All of these things can have an impact on increasing climate-smart agriculture practices. So in summary, the government of Belize investment and interventions to promote an increase in climate-smart agriculture practices in Milpa communities can foster sustained increase in crop productivity, enable food and livelihood security, and promote climate resilience of Mayan Milpa communities in Belize. Thank you so much for your kind attention. My name is Dr. Kristen Drexler, American Public University System, and I want to invite you, if anything in this presentation interested you or you want to know more about it, I want to invite you to contact me. And in the next slide, I'll show you the references of recent publications. And in the most recent publication, you'll see a list of references and sources that I use for those publications. And thank you again for your kind attention, and I look forward to connecting with you all.